Chef Rene Johnson. I am in my kitchen again tonight. I am making some southern smothered cabbage. I'm making it old school. I add a lot of vegetables in mine. I'm excited to show you guys how I do it. I have a whole head of cabbage here. I have my onion. I put a little bell pepper in mine. I have some thyme here. Now, let me tell you about this thyme. I buy fresh herbs all the time, depending on what's going on with me. Sometimes I'll buy it, you know, a bunch of it, or, you know, I'll buy even a plant. But if I buy this kind right here, what I don't use, I throw in my freezer, which is just a great trick to know, because sometimes we think that if we don't use it all right then, that it's not any good. So I have my thyme. It's been in my freezer. It's still fresh, and I'm getting ready to use that. I have some carrots. I have a little grapeseed oil, and the reason why I'm going to use this oil because it fries really, really hot. I have some pepper, my granulated garlic, my granulated onion, garlic. I have a little bit of chili powder, some salt, and some sugar for this recipe. So let's get started. So I'm going to cut my cabbage. I come straight down. You have to have a really strong hand for this. My knife is not as sharp as I'd like it to be. I should have sharpened this before I did this. And then what I do is I cut mine in fours. I take the core out. I take the core out of this piece. Cut it again. Take the core out. And I take the core out. Set my core aside. Then also what I do is I keep my cabbage a little chunky, because it cooks a little bit, you know, it doesn't get cooked as fast. So I keep it a little chunky. But I like to also make sure that it's bite-sized. Looks like there's something going on in this right here. I'm gonna pull this out. You know, nobody wants to put a big old piece of food in their mouth. There we go. Okay, so there's my cabbage. I'm gonna push it aside. I have a bell pepper. Cut that. Cut the end off of that too. Slice it down. Take the inside out of this, so we won't have any bitterness to it. And get all that out. And then I keep these in ribbons. Let me get this out of here too. Be careful. Take this out. I should have cleaned that up a little bit more before I started cutting. Next, I'm going to take an onion. Cut that. Take the first layer of this off. Slice it down. And this I'm going to keep as ribbons as well, so I'm just going to cut it. There you go. Now, I have a couple of carrots, and all I'm doing is moving all this over, and the reason why is because it's all going to go in my skillet at the same time. I have some carrots that have already been washed, and I'm going to slice them. You know, what I shared with you guys about the thyme, that's a small bite tip that I have that a lot of people don't know, is that you can save your fresh herbs that you buy from the store and put it in the freezer. So what I'm doing is getting ready to go to the stove, and I am going to take my oil. I'm gonna preheat my oil. That's a half a cup of grapeseed oil. Let it get hot. Okay, so my oil is hot. I'm getting ready to start putting my cabbage in my skillet. You can hear it sizzle. There we go. Listen to that. All that in there. Next, I'm just going to start putting my ingredients in. This is my salt, my garlic. I'm putting all that in. My onion, I'm going to put all that in. My pepper, I'm going to put all that in. My chili powder, I'm going to put all that in. And I'm going to throw my fresh thyme in there. And you know what? One of the things I got to remind you guys is that, you know, I always talk about being a chef with Blackberry Soul, and, you know, we make everything from scratch with Blackberry Soul, so sometimes stuff happens. One of the things with this thyme is usually when I buy that fresh thyme in that package, I wash it and throw it in a little Ziploc. I didn't do that this time, but what I did do is wash it and throw it in here. So I just wanted you guys to know that. Taking that up, letting it get settled. And you know what makes it smothered is we're going to put this top on it. We're going to let it cook for about 5 to 10 minutes at the most, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to take the top off, flip it one time, and then let it cook another 3 or 4 minutes, and then it's done. You got to remember, it's a vegetable. You don't want to overcook it. I like cabbage that's a little bit crispy, so you don't want to overcook it. And now, you know, only thing I can ask you guys to do is wait for me to plate it so we can enjoy it. This recipe will be in my big cookbook. It won't be in my little e-cookbook, but it'll be in my big cookbook. Make sure you subscribe to Chef Rene Johnson. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Blackberry Soul Catering. And I will see you next time. Bye.